Okay, hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and this is this week's episode of Gossip Talk. Basically, we're going to be talking about what we've done this week, or what we've seen, or what we've heard. I can't think. Anyway.
You're blind, that's why. Love you.
Love you too.
I'm a blonde too, so it's fine.
Yeah, but you have darker roots than me.
I do. My roots are showing.
Showing way more than mine. Okay, so in the short time that we had apart from each other, what did you do?
The usual.
Lay around?
Play around.
Play with Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Helped him study.
I'm not good with that.
Okay.
Roberto
helped him.
Good at school.
I wasn't either. That's why my husband's gonna have to help me teach our kids.
So that's why Roberto helps them.
I mean, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all do date night this week?
We did.
Probably
I don't
done
like
more.
all this thunder.
I don't
Go
either.
away.
Yeah, if y'all hear the background noise, it's because we have a storm right now. And we'll probably have it for the next, probably couple of hours.
Yep.
At least until she goes home.
Probably.
It'll probably pour in the rain when it's time for her to go home.
We kind of had like date night this week. It was more of like a family thing.
Family
because
date
we
night.
had Josh with us.
Yeah. So it's more like family night.
Yep.
I mean, those are good too, because that's important.
Yeah.
Because Josh is a part of that, so.
Yeah.
Me and Mama didn't do anything this week. We slept, we talked, we dealt with our depression.
Mm-hmm.
Slept through our depression. We really didn't do anything. I mean,
Didn't really do a lot. I was sick the other day and I slept through most of the day, which is why I didn't text you a whole lot.
yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, you told me you were sick and you didn't feel good. So, I tried to let you alone. I tried not to irritate you. I know that I come across a couple of different things online that I didn't like, but I was a good girl. I didn't react to them. I didn't say anything to anybody. I wasn't mean back.
Right.
I know that the other night, a couple nights ago now,
Mm-hmm.
I was on the new thing that I was in, the new community. In case some of y'all don't watch my other channel, I role play, and I was in a community the other night, and I was talking about how I had made fudge. Well, somebody didn't like it, and they were like, "Oh, good for you." I'm like, excuse me? All I was going to do was say, "Do you want a piece?" I mean, if you're going to come with me with that kind of attitude, then whatever, you do you then.
You have more strength in that department than I do. I would have probably went after them.
Well, I mean, I tried to say something about it, but everybody was like, "Oh, well, they're normally like that." And I'm like, "Normally a
I
butthole?"
don't care if they're normally like that. I'll fix their attitude real quick.
That's why sometimes I wonder why I still do it.
That's
And then
why
I
I've
happen to
gotten
realize
out of it.
I have friends on there. I have actual legit friends that if I left that community, they would be mad at me.
I have friends, but I've like left most of the communities, and I'm like, hey, look, you can always message me. I'll keep
On
it
Instagram.
open.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not gonna actively roleplay in this
Community because everybody's being a butthole.
because if I did, I would probably get suspended from that community. Because
Oh, I did. I got suspended.
suspended.
Suspended and banned from K-pop roleplay, and I didn't like it, and it still bothers me. Like, if you're gonna, the reason why I didn't interact with that person is because they were underage, and they were mad and got the whole leaders and curators and stuff onto me because I didn't want to role play with them because they were underaged.
That's kind of ridiculous.
And everybody was bothered by my real age. I stated it when I first started role playing there, and if it was a problem, why didn't you tell me then?
Right.
Because I spent over 100 and something days, probably over 400 and something days, in that community without anybody ever saying anything, and then all of a sudden it started bothering everybody.
I mean, obviously, I state my age.
I now do. Anybody that wants to be with me, I'm like, you gotta be older than 21. Sorry.
I'm like, you've got to be at least 18.
You gotta be at least close to pushing to 21. Now, the only reason why I've kept my other role players is because I've known them longer, and I know the fact that they don't care about my age. They just don't care.
Right.
It's not them. And I just, if people nowadays, it's like Mama says, they just want to be mean and rude, and I shouldn't pay them attention. So.
Yeah, well, some people
I can
want to be very rude, and I don't respond well to rudeness.
Well, it's just like everybody's talking about right now that all the hate that's going into the world. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't support anything that has to do with any kind of lives matter, because the way that I was brought up was I don't see color, and I don't see their background heritage. Like, I don't
equal,
see.
So it shouldn't really matter. And the more people thought that way, the better.
Well, I think that had to do with the way that they were taught too, because me and you were raised completely different from each other, but we have similar stuff. So I think the reason why people are like they are is because they weren't brought up the way that me and you were.
I was brought up differently.
Yeah, I grabbed you by the hair of the head.
Yeah, sure you did. If you did, I wouldn't have hair.
We were brought up differently. We were raised in different.
When you were growing up, your dad met your mom, and from then on out, you were raised pretty much like me.
Yeah, but before then,
you were pretty much raised free spirited or something, or just freely and
free spirited, freely, whatever.
Your mom was she set rules, and you followed them most of the time. Sometimes.
No, see, I set rules, but I didn't follow them because for most of my life I lived with my grandfather, and he didn't care what I did.
Yeah, that's true too. I forgot about that.
Because my mom, when I was littler, she worked a lot. She was a single mother trying to raise
2 kids.
Yep.
She was trying to raise you and your butt face.
Worked long hours, and I would spend most of my time with my grandfather.
Yeah.
Who encouraged me to just be me and do whatever.
Right. Yeah. Some people raise their children differently, and I feel like you didn't turn out all that bad.
All that bad, thanks.
Well, you're not in jail. That's what I'm saying.
Unlike most of my cousins, I've never been to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not being mean to them. It's just
they were. If they are in jail, they didn't. I'm gonna say this, and my mom's gonna yeah. For me, if I done anything wrong, if I backtalked to my mom, if I said something wrong, if I looked at her wrong, my nose would be in that corner. That corner right there. There's many a times where my nose was in that corner 10% of my life.
See,
Not
I
10.
never-
Let me rephrase that. 90% of my life.
See, I never got in trouble. And when I did, I would get sent to my room when I was home. And at the house, I would trap myself in my own bedroom when I got in trouble. Because at the house, there was a little block of wood at the top of the door in my bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And when I would get in trouble and get sent to my room, I would throw a Barbie doll up at that block of wood and knock it down to where nobody else could get in the room.
I don't think it was until I was older that if I got mad or if I got in trouble, I would walk off.
Right.
It was mainly if I got mad, I would walk off and go to my room until I sat there and cooled off. Because I didn't want to put up with whatever was going on.
Most of the time, I overreacted when I
Right.
would get in trouble. There was only a handful of times I ever got in trouble. And one of those times was when I decided to cut my own hair while Mom was out on a date and her best friend was watching me.
Didn't
I
hear
told
about
you
one.
that story.
No, you didn't tell me that story.
So her best friend was watching me. Mom was out on a date. We were playing with Barbies. And I'm like, ooh, I need to cut my Barbie's hair. So I asked for scissors. I was 4, maybe 5 at the time. And instead of the baby safety scissors, she gives me an actual pair of adult scissors. The Barbie's hair was not the only hair I cut that day. I cut my own. And I hid it by putting my hair up in a ponytail.
How long did it take your mama to find it?
Till the next morning when she got back and she was doing my hair and she noticed that, oh my god, there's a big chunk of your hair missing. And I'm like, yeah, I was giving myself a haircut. Barbie got a haircut. I wanted one too. And this was on a Sunday. So she had to go to several different hair shops just to try and find one that was open to fix my hair.
Wow.
I had short hair because I had cut off a big chunk of my hair. And this is why I shouldn't be trusted around sharp things.
Yeah, I've done the same thing in pre-K. Except we swept it under a bookshelf.
Well, see, I just put mine in with the Barbie's hair, and Kendra didn't know any different, so she didn't know until Mama called her the next day and was like, she's cut her hair. Nonetheless, I was not allowed to touch scissors.
I'm gonna say this. With my history with scissors, I'm not gonna let my kid have scissors until I know that I'm standing over them and watching them, or a teacher is standing over them and watching them, or their daddy.
I wasn't allowed to have scissors unless somebody was in their room and watching everything that I did.
Exactly. I remember I cut my Barbie's hair one time too. My dolls. I cut my doll's hairs too. I didn't cut mine. I cut doll hair.
You cut yours in the bathroom one day.
I did?
So mean.
Half of it.
I didn't realize I
You
did that.
had this half of your hair was up shoulder length, and the other part was down to your waist. And I sat down and squalled.
Yeah, back when I was younger, I had longer hair,
Mhm.
and now I just have shorter hair because it's easier for me to maintain and take care of myself. And plus, if I had longer hair, it would take more dye to
Mhm.
it would take more dye to dye my hair, and that's just aggravating.
I was so mean to my Barbies. Forget having an older brother or little brother destroying my Barbie dolls. I did that myself.
Right?
One year for Christmas, I got one of those holiday special edition Barbie dolls. You know, the ones that could sell for a lot of money now. And I threw her in my Easy Bake Oven.
Oh my god.
I was mean. I would pop the heads off of them. I would cut off their arms and legs. I would stuff them in a easy bake oven.
You're just mean. Remind me not to buy your kids toys for Christmas. Like Barbies and stuff.
Don't you know that they learned never to buy me like the expensive Barbie dolls. I've always got like the cheap ones after that.
I wonder how much the collection Barbies are running for now.
I don't know. The last time I checked, because I sold the one that Mama had,
Right.
it sold for like $200.
Wow.
And it was like one of the winter holiday.
I have one of those too. I have several of them. I don't know where they're at now. I think I put them up in a box, and I put them on the bus. The storage.
Most of mine I
place.
destroyed because I would get them as a kid, and I'm like, ooh, Barbie doll. Let's rip it out of the packaging.
I tried to rip my blue one out of the packaging, and it's the one that had the little snow globe that sings the Nutcracker. It plays the Nutcracker, it don't sing. It's like the musical Nutcracker, and like, I was gonna take it out of the box, and Dad was like, no. Mom was like, no. They're gonna be collector's items one day. And I'm like, oh,
I'm like, gee,
Darn.
thanks for getting me a toy I can't play with.
yeah. But after that, I collected them for 2 years, and that was it. I've got 3, I think, maybe 4.
I only had like the 2 before they decided to just not.
Buy
would
you
give-
any?
They would give them to Mom and be like, here, they'll
Right.
be collector's items, because she was into collecting stuff anyway.
I've always been into collecting stuff too. Like, I collected the snowflake teddy bears that they have at Walmart. I collect those, and I just haven't bought any for the past 4 years, 5 years.
I used to collect those and like anything Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Oh, that stuff's probably collector's items now because he quit racing.
Yep.
To
Those are out
After
in
that
our,
plane
like,
crash.
storage shed.
really,
Yep.
after the plane crash, he stopped racing. And I can't say that I blame him. I think I would have probably quit after my daddy was killed, though.
Yeah.
If I'd have been him, but
Well, she's got some of like Dale Earnhardt Jr. stuff and some like Dale Earnhardt Sr. stuff. Because
that's
Grandpa
really collectors. That's senior stuff.
The Grandpa had like a bunch of collector's stuff of Senior because that was one of his favorite races.
Right.
And when he passed, she got some
Yeah. Daddy liked Bill Elliott. And in return, I like Chase Elliott now. That's the only one that I'll watch. I don't think he races no more, though.
I haven't watched it since like Grandpa passed away because we would watch it like every Saturday and Sunday
I think
and then like on the Friday special races.
I don't think I've watched it in like ages.
I haven't either.
Like, I think there's been at least close to 10 years I haven't watched it.
Grandpa's been dead for like 8 or 9 years now. So it's probably been just about as long.
Right. Well, a lot of people were switching to Dodge and running Dodge. But I don't think Dodge has any cars anymore. I think they've all changed.
Oh no. The last,
No. Mom says I haven't.
like the only one that I really ever
They don't have any Dodgers anymore.
was
Mom
a
says.
fan of was Tony Stewart.
Yeah, I think Tony still races. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I'm not really sure at all.
There's like a lot of stuff that I don't watch anymore that I used to watch. Like with my cousins, I was raised around like a group of boy cousins because they were closer to my age.
Right.
And one of them was like a huge fan of the Green Bay Packers, and I haven't watched any of their stuff in like years.
Right.
Because I used to be like raised on football and basketball and NASCAR.
I was raised with just NASCAR. I don't like football and basketball or
Football,
anything.
basketball, baseball.
Occasionally, I will watch a softball game, and occasionally I'll go down there to the Crawdads and I'll watch them. But that's because it's baseball I get. because my nephews have stopped playing,
Mhm.
and it was not due to COVID either. It's because they quit playing.
It's because they lost interest in it.
They lost interest because half the time they would be with their other parent, and their other parent wouldn't take them. So
Yeah, I was raised with like a bunch of boys. There was like 3 that I was raised around because they were close to my age. So 90% of the time I would spend my time either watching sports or outside working on cars with one of them.
yeah, I was mainly outside with my dad working on cars. I would hand him tools. I know what tools are, and I know what they do. I know how to operate them and everything.
And I know how to like change the spark plugs and
Yep.
oil and all that stuff.
Tire. I know how to change a tire.
I had to change Chris's tire in the parking lot of a mall because
I remember that.
I was calling everybody and being like, hey,
Can you help?
yep.
And nobody wanted to.
And nobody wanted to drive all the way to Hickory. So finally, I'm like, I've done this before. I've worked on cars. I used to do it all the time with my cousins, so I changed his tire.
I'm not gonna say anything for fear from him finding the channel.
I don't care. I will talk about him because at that point in time, we had snuck around his parents' back because his parents didn't like me, and he wasn't supposed to be hanging around me. So he called his parents, and he's like, I'm stuck. I went to the mall with some friends, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, call the insurance company, get them to tow the car, blah, blah, blah. But he wasn't supposed to be hanging out with me, so he couldn't do that. So I ended up changing the tire.
Crazy.
I'm just like, ugh. How does a guy not know how to at least change a tire? He didn't even know where, like, the spare tire was in his vehicle.
That's sick.
He ain't a man then.
He's like, I don't even think I have a spare tire. And I'm like, have you used it before? He's like, I don't know where it is. I'm like, well, let's go to your trunk. It's probably under the, like, mat in your trunk, which it was.
Depends on what car as to where it is.
Most, like, small cars, which is what he had, has them under the trunk.
Right.
Like, there's a little place where you can lift up the, like, bottom mat of the trunk, and it's there. Some of them have them, like, underneath the car.
Well, in our 300, there's like a thing that you just picked up,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was the tire.
And then, like, some of them have them, like, on the back, which is obviously the easier place
Yeah.
to get at them.
And let me tell you something. A tire on a Chrysler 300 is heavy as...
About as heavy as
It's about as heavy as my fat butt is.
wheelchair.
It's heavy as a wheelchair.
His spare tire wasn't that big, because his was, like, a little bitty car. It was just because he had never changed the tires, and and the time that he had it, because it was a, like, newer car.
Wow. Well, men. Some men.
So I spent like 30 minutes changing his tire
So that you could get out of the situation.
because it was the front tire. So then I had to take off the back tire and the front tire and put the spare tire on the back and then move the back tire to the front.
Fun.
So I spent like 30 minutes changing a tire for an ex-boyfriend.
Well, I feel like now that if that happened again, you wouldn't have to do that. 'Cause I don't think Roberto would let you change a tire.
No.
So,
Just because his wheels are heavier and like almost the him. He's got like huge tires
he does.
because he has his truck lifted.
Yes. And that's even more pain in the butt.
Yes.
I'm not calling him a pain in the butt. I'm calling the tire a pain in the butt.
Because he's had it lifted twice now.
Siblings. Anyway.
Which, I mean, makes it easier to get under it to do work. But, like...
True. Changing a tire is a pain in the butt then.
Yeah. Because then you gotta make sure you aren't hitting any of, like, the lift kit crap
Right?
when you're, like, lifting it up. And I'm just like... if I tried to do that, I would just break everything.
I know, I would. That's why I wouldn't change a tire for him.
If, like,
I'm
it's
like,
a
young.
small car, fine, I can do that. But, like, with all the stuff that he's had and, like, all the hundreds and hundreds of dollars that he's thrown into his truck, I ain't gonna risk messing it up. I don't have the hundreds and hundreds of dollars to pay for it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess that's end of gossip talk. We managed to make it short. It's only 26 minutes.
That's shorter than the other ones are playing.
Yeah,
The
the
other ones have
other
been,
ones are like 30 minutes.
30 to 40 minutes. So we've, like, cut that in half.
Alright, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. And if you don't like long videos, don't watch our gossip talk. But if you want to watch it, you can still watch it. We don't care. We've been getting a lot of comments that are linking Tinder accounts. Please don't do that. We're both very... Okay. She's very happy with her relationship. I'm fine the way I am. So please, 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 we beg you, do not do that. Plus, to top it off, we are both Christians, and we feel like that is extremely uncomfortable. Well, I mean, I do. I don't know about her, but just for me,
I've
it's
used
uncomfortable.
many dating sites. So
I have too, but I mean, it's just extremely uncomfortable to see people like posting their Tinders in the comments below. Look, if you want a date, that is what Tinder is for. Don't be coming and putting the comments down below, okay? I don't care. They will get deleted, okay? They will be flagged. They will be deleted. I'm not the only one that's on this account either. She's logged in, and her fiance is logged in too.
Yep.
So, I don't want to see any of that. They don't want to see any of it. So, please don't do that. Now, if you want to talk and ask us for advice, y'all can leave that in the comments below. We don't care. Just don't be posting Tinder profiles in the comments below. If you want to follow us on Instagram, I will put it in the description box below.
Instagram, Twitter.
We have Twitters as well. We will put them in the description box below, or I'll try to, since I'm the one that's posting the videos for us, because I film on my devices. But yeah, just follow us on all of our social media platforms, and just, you know, if you want advice, we're here. If you don't, that's okay too. We try to post every week.
Yep.
At least I try to. I mean, I'm on everything else except all social medias.
Yeah.
The only thing I think that I'm probably not gonna link below is our Facebook. So our personal Facebooks,
So-
because I don't think it's appropriate. I don't like to be bothered in my inbox on mine.
I don't
because,
use mine.
Yeah, she don't use hers. Hers is just there for her messenger.
Yep. Because
And
apparently
for me
now,
to attack her in.
you have to have like an actual Facebook to use Messenger, which is stupid.
That is pretty
Because-
stupid.
That's why mine got deleted. Is because it wasn't attached to a like actual Facebook account when they started redoing things. It was just my phone number.
That's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Facebook is stupid, but that's beside the point.
That's why now it's like I'm glad that it's attached to Instagram.
Right?
I can just talk to everybody on Instagram. It's fine.
Alright, guys. Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.